Hi, my name is Jonathan Killian, and I'm a Managing Director with Karl Marx Advisors, and I'm joined by Keith Daniels, a partner. We'd like to talk to you a minute about some of the challenges in healthcare M&A, and specifically pertaining towards splitting or bifurcating a healthcare company. For whatever the reason, we have found and come across situations where a company may look to divest or sell a part of their business or business segment. This can complicate an already complicated process when it comes to healthcare M&A. One of the areas that we would want to focus in on is the licensure element. Healthcare is obviously a highly regulated industry. Many of these businesses have licenses at the state level or even by licensing agencies, and these need to be carefully considered when finding an M&A partner. So you'll have to understand the acquirer, what licenses they already have, and what licenses they will need to obtain in order to successfully consummate an acquisition of your business line.
In a sale or bifurcation of a company, there are a number of operational considerations as well. First depends on the level of integration of a company. In that case, splitting of certain locations and the cost to do so needs to be considered. Further, when a company is being sold, the acquirer may need a transaction services agreement to help the company transition to the new company. These transaction service agreements can include a number of things, including IT support, finance, or even reimbursement support. It's important that these contracts be negotiated in such a way that the fees cover any of the expenses that the legacy company is incurring by providing these services to the new company. Another area of operational consideration is handling of patient data and making sure that it's done so in a way that conforms with regulatory requirements. Jonathan, what about payer contracts?
Yes, payer contracts is also an important area that needs to be carefully evaluated in this process. Similarly to where you need to match up what licenses an acquirer has versus what licenses they need, it also helps to understand what payer contracts they have. Payer contracts have two really key aspects to this process. The first is when finding a company that is interested in your line of business, it helps from an operational standpoint for there to be overlap between your payer contracts and their payer contracts. This will help expedite, especially in a patient care environment, the transition between your business and the acquirers. The second reason payer contracts is important is because if you are bifurcating businesses that are currently under a single payer contract, you are likely going to be put in the position where you will need to renegotiate with the individual payers what the coverage policies are going to be. This process is likely to take some time, a lot of effort, and has some execution risk in understanding and putting in place what exactly the legacy business is going to look like going forward. Overall, this effort needs to be well planned, well coordinated, and closely integrated with regulatory counsel in order to make sure that it's done in the most effective and efficient manner.
Supplier contracts are another area that needs to be considered through this process. With the reduced volumes from a smaller company, the suppliers are often going to be coming back to look at repricing their products, which will have an impact on margin. These contracts need to be negotiated with care to make sure that income is not adversely impacted to a significant degree. The financial implications of a split need to be considered. Quite often in this process, the debt will need to be restructured, and as a result, the company is going to need the support from its lenders and sponsors to get through this process. So these are just some of the things to consider when bifurcating or selling off a portion of a healthcare company.